Hello and welcome to History Talk. Hello and welcome back to History Talk. Today we're going to be talking about a little thing called Southern Unionists and what exactly they did to try and, show their unionism, I guess. So, while Southern Unionists were a small minority, in 1885 they set up the Irish Loyal and Patriotic Union to fight elections. But unfortunately for them, due to their small numbers, they seldom actually won even one seat. So only the graduates of Trinity College in Dublin, most of whom were Protestants, they actually elected 2 Unionist MPs. They provided Southern Unionists with their only guaranteed voice in the Commons. However, there was one massive thing in their arsenal that Unionists had. And that was that Southern Unionists had very wealthy and influential people to make up for the lack of numbers. Because if you were Catholic in Ireland, you had a very, very low chance of being wealthy. Most of the wealthy people in Ireland at this time were, Protestant and Unionist. Just because that was where the thing worked mostly. Not only that, but just because you had tended to have maybe family connections if you were a Unionist. And that was kind of why you were Unionist. All these things. So while there were actually mostly poor farmers or workers, the Southern Unionists actually also included many of the wealthiest people in Ireland. I should say most of them were men, because sexism, once again, rife. Many of them, like, the head of Guinness, or Lord Lansdowne, the landlord, had actually won seats in the Lords. Now, this gave Southern Unionists more influence than their numbers actually justified. Once again, a breakdown in democracy. They used their wealth and positions to actually campaign in Britain against self-government for Ireland. This is fairly dangerous, because it's one thing if you campaign against something. Let's say, you say to someone, no, you shouldn't pay him the wage he deserves. No. You shouldn't pay him the wage he deserves. Then what happens is, if I go, okay, fine, well, give him the wage he deserves, it's a legal right. I'm going to take that person to court. That's the issue. If you campaign with this thing, if people accept that, they may not understand that people may be willing to go to another extreme. So, maybe they should have not done that. Now, Ulster Unionists were in a much stronger position than Southern Unionists. Across the whole 9 counties, Ulster was a tightly, just over 50% of the population. However, the northeastern counties, they had a massive majority. Now, Ulster Unionists included all classes and several creeds: farmers, landlords, labourers, factory workers, and their bosses. Now, they also had all sorts of methods of, Protestantism, Anglicans, Presbyterian, and Methodists were all united in the supporting of the Union. Now, obviously, they started to form together. So they now form, in 1905, the Ulster Unionist Council to maintain unity and organise elections. In the 1910 elections, the Unionists won 17 of Ulster's 33 seats. Now, the economy of Ulster was strong. The reasons for this were, multiple different reasons. You see, while the rest of Ireland were going poor under the Union, Ulster, especially around the area of Belfast, began to prosper. Now, this was due to 2 areas: linen and shipbuilding. Now, the linen industry, which had begun in people's homes in the 18th century, had expanded into factories in the 19th century. Most of these factories located in the linen triangle of towns surrounded around Belfast. Now, by 1900, 70,000 people, mostly women, worked in the industry. The hours were very long and the wages and conditions were bad. But they did have jobs, unlike most of the people in southern towns. because most people in the towns would mean only barely surviving. Now, shipbuilding was actually the main source of Ulster's prosperity. It had begun in Belfast in the 1850s. This industry was at its peak between 1900 and 1920. The main shipyard, Harland and Wolff, was the biggest in the world. It specialised in producing luxury transatlantic liners. It launched the Olympic, the biggest passenger ship ever built, in 1910, and 2 years later, it also built the Titanic, which would then set off from Cork and later on would eventually sink. Anyway, so getting back to the shipbuilding industry in Ulster. So the success of this shipbuilding is very large. Harland and Wolff is the second largest shipyard, and it employs over 20,000 men. Most of them are highly skilled and they're well paid. Now, it also draws in more industries. There were firms which produced engines, ropes, furniture, and fittings for the shipbuilders. The pool of skilled workers also attracted other industries in Belfast, like cigarette making, brewing, and distilling. All these foreign visitors, commented on the vigour and bustle of Belfast and the prosperity of its citizens compared to the poverty-stricken periods of Dublin and other southern cities. That prosperity was due to the existence of plenty of well-paid work. In many families, both men and women could get jobs, and that meant families enjoyed relatively decent standard of living. Not amazing, not, as wealthy as some of the landlords you had, but, still relatively good. Now, also Unionists feared that they would lose that prosperity if Ireland got home rule. A Dublin-based parliament, jealous of Belfast's prosperity, might interfere with the free flow of trade between Britain and Ireland upon which their prosperity actually depended on. They were determined to stop this from happening, because obviously you could argue that Dublin would have done this because it's a different country. Right now, Ireland can't make a decision. Ireland can't go, oh no, England, look, you're not paying us anything for our work. We're giving you all this basically almost free labour, and you're just taking our goods and buying them for cheap. Pay up now. This country isn't getting any money. You're just paying the people who produce it. You're not paying any import tax or paying any export tax on that. Should be. But obviously they can't do that. So, there's there. Anyway, so the Irish Unionist Party is what we'd be talking about next, because in 1886, the leader of the British Liberal Party, William Gladstone, had promised giving Ireland home rule. However, to stop it, Unionists from the North and South decided to unite in the Unionist Party, led by Edward Saunderson. It formed an alliance with the British Conservative Party. Now, this was very, very, very fortunate for the Unionists, because the Conservatives actually controlled the House of Lords, and at this time, the Lords could block any bill at all. No reason required, just any bill. And because Home Rule was only going to be able to be got through via a bill, they were safe. The Lords could block it at any time, and as long as they maintained this connection with the Conservatives, then they'd be fine. Now, the thing with the Ulster Unionist Party, the Unionist Party, is that you have this sort of thing where, how do you get people together? How do you say to someone, well, join us? Well, they use the Orange Order. It draws much of its strength from the Orange Order. This is an exclusively Protestant organisation. It is set up in the 1790s. It kind of dies, though, so it is revived in the 1880s to resist Home Rule. Its stated aim was to preserve the Protestant Constitution and the United Kingdom and its Protestant ruler. Although the Orange Order had a few branches in the south, its main strength was in Ulster. In each town and village, the Orange Hall, where the local meeting place, where rich and the poor mingled. The Orange Order organised regular marches and demonstrations to commemorate the Protestant victories, such as the Protestant King William of Orange over the Catholic King James at the Battle of the Boyne in 1691. Now, mean, technically James was rightful king, and, you know, William of Orange kind of took it from him, so, you know, I mean, it's a bit dodgy, but, you know, anyway, the purpose of these marches was actually demonstrate that Protestants were a dominant faction in Ulster, because no one was going to stop them. Now, next time, we'll be talking about some of the close links with the Unionist Party and the Orange Order. Along with that, we'll also be talking about a little thing called the nationalist view of the Union or self-government. See you next time. Hopefully you will join us then, and if not, and you don't view other videos, bye-bye. Please do subscribe to the YouTube channel, and yeah, view the videos, it helps a lot, so yeah. See you next time if you're coming back. Hopefully you'll enjoy your rest of your existence. Bye!